company. Now, when I walk the streets of St. John's and CV Farm, people come to me and we talk about renewable energy, and one of the common question is, do you think you will be successful? And I have to say, this was never about me. It has never been. This is about truly the people of Antigua and Barbuda living a more successful and glorious life, a life that they deserve. And so now, if you were to ask me, do I think the people of Antigua and Barbuda will be successful? The answer for me is a resounding and an unequivocal yes. So this is, and I always say, if Antiguans only knew what they deserve, there would be riots in the streets. And this isn't necessarily to put pressure on, this isn't about politics, whether it's ALP or UPP. Regardless of what,
it's reality.
It's reality.
Mm-hmm.
It's reality. And so I have to say, we deserve more, we deserve better. And the more I read the story about Moses, Dave, and you may laugh, but I feel
Why would
convicted. I should say my interpretation of it. But before I go on, let me say I won't necessarily say I'm a Christian by conventional standards, but I have a great amount of good in my heart, right? But the more I read the account of Moses in the Bible, my interpretation of it is Moses at the time. You have to understand that Egypt was a superpower. Just like you have America, Russia, and China, Egypt at that time was a superpower, and their economy was structured it was prospering based off the free labor
from the slaves
of the slaves, the Hebrew Israelites.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when Moses went to Pharaoh and said, "Thus saith the Lord, let my people go," what he was in essence telling Pharaoh is that he ought to restructure Egypt's economy. He doesn't care what Egypt restructure its economy to. He doesn't care how he does it, but it won't be off the backs of the Hebrew Israelites anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. And so now it's you would say it's comical, it's ludicrous. You would call me crazy if I were to get a meeting with the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda and I were to tell him, don't accept any more tourists from America or Canada or the UK. Like, who's this guy? Doesn't he know that's where we get our bread and butter? And is this? I believe the first knock joke was from Moses. Knock knock. Who's there? Moses. What do you want? Tell Pharaoh to let
my people go.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I feel convicted in what I'm doing. And not saying that I'm Moses, but I do believe that the people involved in W.I.R.E Limited, the management team, we have I'm fortunate and I'm blessed to say I have the brightest minds in W.I.R.E Limited, in Antigua and Barbuda, working with W.I.R.E. And so I'm confident that with persistence and with the support of the management team, we will be successful. It's just a matter of being persistent, because the movement, that the exodus rather, that's happening here in Antigua, it's not from one landmass to another landmass, but rather a movement from one state of consciousness to another state of consciousness. And those individuals, the powers that be, along with their minions, who would choose to remain with the status quo, will be drowned in their own ignorance one way or the other. And so I'm convicted with what I'm doing. I also want to let the youths of Antigua and Barbuda know that in whatever it is they're pursuing, their goals, don't be afraid to, don't take no for an answer. Keep persisting. And I'll give you a practical example. When I first came back from the university to open up a business account for W.I.R.E Limited, I went to a particular bank and they told me that I required like three different documents, and I had forgot one in the States. And I said, So she said, yeah, I'm going to need that document. So I said, can I use this? What about this document instead? She said, no. I said, what about this document instead? She said, no, there's no way around it. You have to have that document. I said, okay. I got up, left, walked across the street, went to another bank where I had a account when I was younger. Told her that I'd like to open up a business account. Can I do it with these documents here? She said, yes. I said, perfect. I got up, left, went back to the bank that I came from, and I said, look, I really acknowledge and like the business, the model, the image of the bank, right? And I really want to do business here. Now, if you insist that I have to have this document and I can't open up an account, that's fine. I'll simply go across to the bank where I just came from, and they said I can open up an account there. And so I will, if you insist, then I'll just simply go across to the other bank and open the account. And so she got up. She said, okay. She got up, went to speak with the supervisor, and in about 3 minutes she came back and she said, okay,
yes,
Mr. Codrington, you can't open up an account here. And so the point that I want, and this is not about me, this is not to glorify me, this is just simply about the
persistent,
the young adults
if
to
you
know,
believe in something,
keep going at it. And I mean, I could call names, Lenisa George, Amaya Attil, Carlin Knight, John White, Kyle Christian. These are just individuals that I know have been persistent, have already done tremendous work in Antigua and Barbuda. And so it's not just me alone that's rising up. There are other young Antiguans and Barbudans that are rising up and are pursuing their goals. They're not taking no for an answer and getting the job done.
Well, you know me, because I think it is so important, and you have some of the tools that I need for the listeners. I'm going to invite you back, and we'll talk, and I'll have you back here at another time. And I do hope by the next time you come back, I'll have some good news from you, that of course they're willing to sit at the table and listen. Or the good old folks, they don't decide this is a good venture, let's merge with this young man. Thanks for being with me. All the best. If I don't see you before Christmas, have yourself a joyous Christmas and stay safe. I wish you the best of everything, and continue being persistent, young man.
Thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate it.
That's going to do it for Observer PM for today, Tuesday. Stay tuned for Evolution Drive Time.